AskReddit by Conquer. What theory is so dumb that you wonder how people still acknowledge it? Rejecting a raise or a bonus because it will put you in higher tax bracket. Had a peer in business school spout this one in an upper level class after most students in the business program were required to take a tax class. 5G causes cancer. 5G spreads COVID. I'll add to this, my mother, who admittedly is getting crazier by the day, pointed out to my sister a plane that was leaving behind a white trail and said the government is spreading another wave of COVID. I almost died of laughter when they told me. The flat earth theory. My favorite part about it is when they do scientific experiments to attempt to prove that the earth is flat and the experiment shows that it is not flat and they just disregard the experiment altogether. Vaccines contain tracking devices / 5-gram chips or whatever. What do you think your phone is? You know, the thing most people have on them the majority of the time. I don't know how people think that the entire world worked together to fake a disease just to maybe track you if you got vaccinated. You aren't special. The government doesn't care that you go McDonald's once a week and do your grocery shopping every other Tuesday. Isn't there another aspect of this vaccine theory that 5-gram activates a kill switch when the government wants to eliminate the population? That satellites intercept prayers to Jesus, so he can't hear them, and that's why we have evil in our lives. Oh wow, I've not heard that one before. That's special. Moon landing deniers. If a dozen or so people couldn't hold on to a secret to keep Lexington safe during Watergate, how do you expect thousands? Not to mention, being able to disprove the biggest technological achievement in human history would have been a massive win for the Soviet Union, and yet they couldn't. NASA has also released tens of thousands of photos and other documentation and even some artifacts, but yet there are still dumbasses out there that think some smudge from a copy machine or whatever is a proof of a hoax. Yeah, good job YouTube user XX Pussy Master 420XX, you were able to just immediately spot what decades of Soviet intelligence services missed. Good job. My sister-in-law's boyfriend dropped that bomb on us Christmas Eve. Doesn't believe in the moon landing because of Elon Musk? He's unemployed, been married twice. My sil is an actual teacher. We are all wondering what he brings to the table. Oh man, this is a pet peeve of mine as a mother. People thinking if I hold or console my infant baby too much I'll spoil her. She's a baby. You can't spoil a baby. The babies that grew up in Russian orphanages and never got held had some pretty serious issues and died at a way higher rate. Who thinks it's bad to hold a baby? Vaccines cause autism. People still cite that one study, the one that was so flawed that the guy ended up being struck off, maybe even put in prison, I can't remember, as proof of this. That it's legal for your company to fire you for talking about your wages with co-workers. The idea that 5G causes cancer. My favorite story is that town that was putting up 5G towers and people kept reporting them and claiming they were sick, and you know what the construction company's response was? They were basically like, y'all could at least wait for us to turn the damn thing on before you start making up complaints. The teachings of Andrew Tate. I was under the impression his audience was high school boys. Couldn't believe the first time I encountered a guy in his 40s who was into him. I don't understand, man. Children, how do you go that long in life without growing up? Did you create a bubble in your parents' basement? It's pretty sad. Definitely the theory that people are putting drugs in Halloween candy. IDKY, people even believe this. Drugs are damn expensive. Nobody is wasting their drugs on your kids, trust me. This was always my mom's response to other parents when they chided her for letting me eat Halloween candy she hadn't checked for drugs. No one is wasting their crack cocaine on these ungrateful children, Alice. I'm not history's nicest person, but I like to think I'm at least a tolerant enough person. But those flat earthers really challenge that estimation. That is straight insipidity. I think for a lot of them it's less about the theory itself and more about feeling different from the rest of us. I personally laugh at the irony of these freethinkers being the most easily manipulated and least educated group I've seen in a while, starting with a conclusion and rejecting the mountain of evidence that disproves it. Young Earth. I was a devoted Christian from childhood to early 20s, but my love and passion for dinosaurs stopped me to believe in the young Earth. This discord caused a snowball effect where I read Christian Science books that made me realize how out of touch their mentality was and finally left the church altogether. Thanks dinosaurs for making me snap out of it. Holocaust deniers. Like nobody is making a conspiracy that fakes millions of deaths and getting away with it. I visited Auschwitz a few months ago. Fuck Holocaust deniers. Conspiracy or belief rather than theory. Scientologists believe in a being called Xenu. Basically a space reptile apparently, but you don't get taught that until you reach a certain level. So we will never know the truth. Give me a small donation of $10 million and I will tell you a few Xenu facts. Not a theory in the traditional sense but Mormonism. Dude said an angel just appeared to him and a whole church was built around that. Edit. Shout out to y'all who got the point. And yeah, obviously all religions were started this way, but the thousands of years between the birth of Christianity, Judaism and Mormonism happens to be interesting and relevant context. He put the second M in Mormon. Anything espoused by QAnon. My uncle's in that and it's really scary. I'm not allowed around him anymore since I met him once 10 years ago when I was 8. I don't really remember most the details of our interactions, but he was fucking crazy and told me to stay away from Jews and liberals because they would harvest my flesh and eat me. Flat Earth. The second biggest joke to gain traction. Moon landing never happened. It was a Hollywood studio lot and the world was deceived. Everyone involved lived a lifelong lie and had very talented artists make all the photos and video. FFS. Given the film technology we had at the time, it would have been far cheaper and way more feasible to stuff 3 guys into a tin can, strap them to a rocket, and fire them off to a distant rock 250,000 miles away from Earth than it would have been to mimic all those things on a soundstage. The theory of the alpha male was a misunderstanding taken out of context. It has been universally debunked by scientists for decades. In fact, biologists were against applying this theory to humans to begin with. There are no human alphas. And what we believe to be alphas in animal populations like wolf packs turned out to just be parents and their packs just their pups. Alphas do not exist in nature. Where they do exist is within the confines of human-made prisons. The old studies on wolf alphas largely came from wolf packs in captivity who establish a weird pecking order that wouldn't exist in nature. Trickle-down economics, that giving tax cuts to the rich will cause them to create jobs for all and it helps the economy when they actually just keep the extra money. I've said it a million times and I'll say it again, trickle-down economics is actually just code for eat our scraps and be thankful. Flat Earth, fake moon landings, pretty much anything debunking literal science. As an astrophysics major who started college in the fall, I've already come across so many genuinely stupid people who disagree with scientific research and proven facts is insane. Hollow Earth people too. That millionaires work that much harder than you for their money. This always hits home for me when I drive through rural poor areas and there will be a stack of firewood the size of a house to last the winter. No, poor people aren't lazy. The birds are robots thing seems pretty cuckoo. I'm pretty sure the people who created it made it as satire.